continue. There it is.
There we go.
You're live.
Good evening, everyone. Today is September the 30th, and I am ready to call the Audit and Finance Committee meeting to order. It has been a lovely day. So we are going to start by having our majority council take attendance. Ms.
Sure, Madam
Kennedy,
Chairwoman. Ms. Willingham,
present.
Peter.
Present.
Bergdorf,
Present.
Clay,
Present.
Grimm,
Here.
Joyce,
Here.
Lakakis,
Here.
Mayo. Oh, I just saw him. And O'Brien.
Here.
I believe Mr. Mayo may be trying to, he just came back on. All present, Madam Chairwoman.
Very good, very good. Thank you so very much. It's great to see everyone. All right, so we're going to start with our previous business. And Ms. Kennedy, if I can trouble you to read out all of our business and our agenda for tonight. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Madam Chairwoman. The first item is approving the previous minutes.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Peter.
if there's no objections, I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes.
I got a motion from
Motion.
Mr. Peter and I got a second from Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Let's go on to the next item.
Item 2 is authorizing a one-time amnesty period for reduction of interest charged on delinquent property taxes. This is tabled at the request of the sponsor. Items 3 and 4 go together. One is a public hearing for local law L, a local law of the County of Albany, New York, ensuring universal access to counsel during eviction proceedings in housing courts in Albany County. Both 3 and 4 are tabled at the request of the sponsor. Item 5 is amending resolution number 318 for 2020 regarding media and consulting services for the Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center.
I have a question first.
We just hold on one moment, Mr. Grimm, please. We are on, are you talking about a previous?
Yeah,
item?
we just got tabled. The
You're
public
talking about
hearing- the
three and
public hearing-
4?
I thought in our last meeting, we voted for a public hearing on this for October 26th, didn't we?
No,
it was tabled in law last night.
tabled.
So
It was
okay,
tabled the last time too.
All right, so there won't be a public hearing then on October 26th, is that it?
Not on this item.
Okay. All right, thanks very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. And so we're past 3 and 4, and we are now on to number 5. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, could you just read it one more time, please?
Sure. Item 5 is amending resolution number 318 for 2020 regarding media and consulting services for the Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center.
Mr. Slatsky,
Hi, good evening, everyone.
good evening.
Madam
How are
Chairwoman.
you tonight?
Good, thank you.
All right,
you're
we're
doing
ready to
well.
hear from you. Yes, very much. Go ahead.
This is Braun Media. They had a 3-year agreement, and this is to increase that agreement, which ends at the end of this year. We will be submitting an RLA for the new contract, but that won't be for next year. What has happened with this particular contract is for the media who monitor our website, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, expenses for the years 20 and 21 have exceeded expectations due to the additional required regulatory postings on our website, our staff and resident recruitment campaign, and multiple media engagements throughout the same period. Many of these items where we manage the website or require us to notify families literally on a weekly basis as to visitation, changes in regulatory requirements. And of course, we've used Braun Media to do numerous staff recruitment efforts to try to bolster up our staff and meet minimum staffing levels. So the $60,000 in addition clearly could not have been anticipated when we created this contract. Was pre-pandemic. So therefore, we would run out of money to get to the end of the year to still maintain our website, and we're still required to do these notifications. So we're requesting to increase their last year of their contract, which is 100,000 to 160,000, to cover these expenses. The new RLA that we'll submit next year will go back down to the 100,000.
Are there any questions from any of the members?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Grimm?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Larry, and I talked about this last time we gave them a
Yeah.
contract, and now
Right.
it's even more. They sent me a bunch of how many hits they got on the website, which is really wasn't what I was looking for. I really want these clear, practical outcomes. And this is what I really like to get from you folks, if you could. When they say what they are assisting with staff recruitment, how many staff applicants were due directly to what Braun Media did? And how many of those became staff members? And how many resident admission applications were a direct result of the Braun Media? And how many admissions did we get? That to me is some.
Well, the
clear practical-
admissions, we spend very, did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Those are the big questions. I
Yeah,
have.
we don't really spend many dollars on the recruitment of residents, even though they do our contract revisions that have to be posted on the website. I think in the original request, and I did mention this to this committee previously, but it was a long time ago. Residents come through medical centers, and we usually have a nice flow of residents to the nursing home. Most of their work is with staff recruitment, and I will tell you that I'll get you the exact numbers tomorrow.
Oh, great.
But I get at least 2 to 3 applicants a day through our website that's forwarded to me through the Braun Media Exchange and or Indeed, but primarily through Braun Media.
Okay.
We also have postings at bus stations, advertising, and all of these media work. Matter of fact, we're trying a new thing now that we made a poster. I don't know if you've seen them in laundry rooms or different restaurants where there's a tear off with the phone number. Apply for a job. We have a beautiful one pager, and on the bottom there's tear offs. Tear off, call this number. We just did that. It was recommended by someone that one of the people that work for us, and it seemed like a great idea. A lot of people, will tear off and call up. So we will try that as well to continue to recruit staff. But I literally get 2 or 3 applicants a day, if not more, whether it be an LPN, RN, and CNAs, and that all comes through our media campaign. We also do some radio now, advertising for staff as well. The biggest problem that we have is because the recruitment really works. Our efforts now are really on retention. We do not do a good job on retention, and that sometimes is salary, sometimes it's the workload. Once they get started, if they don't have the staffing pattern that they're looking for, people work 30 days, 60 days, and then seek other employment. So we're putting a tremendous amount of effort internally now and respecting the staff, treating them in a certain way that they expect. And we're doing education in-house, outside, trying to get nurse managers to better understand how staff need to be managed, because we must retain. If we're hiring, as an example, in the last 12 months, we hired 120 staff members, if you can imagine that.
Wow.
And 118 left. So clearly it is a retention issue, and that's for numerous reasons. And some of those 118 are retirements, people moved, people took other positions due to the pandemic outside the industry. People just don't want to work in healthcare. So we're competing with Amazon Prime. People are getting delivery jobs. You know, our starting salary now for CNAs, which is a decent salary, but it's still under $16 an hour. You could get a job at Prime making deliveries at $20 an hour with a $2,000 sign-on bonus. So we're competing with restaurants, deliveries, services. It's a challenge, and we're dealing with it. It's part of life today.
Did the vaccine mandate, Larry, did that cost us workers?
Yes. Right now, the 27th was the date that everyone had to be vaccinated, at least with the first dose. And right now, as it stands, it's 5 staff members, 3 in the nursing department, 1 in housekeeping, and 1 in dietary.
Okay, although a lot of
really,
worse than that, though. It's a lot of places.
Yeah, in the big picture, we actually did extremely well. We have 250 staff members, and 5 needed to be terminated. So we did well, but losing 3 staff members in the nursing department when you're struggling on a day-to-day basis is a lot.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome. I have Matt. Do you have a question? Where are you?
No, Madam Chair, if you had a question, I was gonna ask to move the resolution, but if there's questions, please go ahead.
I just have a question. If no one else does, what's our census?
Say again?
Our census?
Our census today was 203. And I want to point out that our census has been kept around 200, 203, 207, which is what we believe to be consistent with the amount of staff that we have to care for residents. We do not want to admit residents that we cannot appropriately care for. I will also state with the 203 census, we actually have 17 residents as we speak right now on the waiting list to get in. And we take them in order, staying around that number. And if we could increase our staff to care for the residents, then we will start picking up admissions more rapidly. I believe that if we could get the staffing where it needs to be, which I don't think is going to happen in 30 days, but in fact, if we did, our nursing home probably be filled at our 245, 250 census within 30 to 60 days with no problem whatsoever.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Grimm, for your question. And if there are no other questions from the members, I'll entertain Mr. Peter, his motion. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second from Mr. Grimm. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Slatsky. Thank you very much.
Have a great evening.
Thanks, Larry.
Okay, we are now on to number 6, I believe. Ms. Kennedy.
Yes, Madam Chairwoman. Item 6 is amending the 2021 Albany County budget for performance management and data analytics coordination position.
Mr. Riley.
Madam Chair, I'm actually going to have Mr. McLaughlin handle this one. I will take the property dispositions though.
Okay, Mr. McLaughlin.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Sorry about that confusion. So we're coming to you today to ask for the creation of a data analytics coordinator position. As we see it, there's 3 primary reasons for the necessity of this position. The first being the increased desire to see outcomes. Perhaps there's a legislator or 2 on this committee who is desirous of such. I don't know who that might be, but in all seriousness, we get a lot more data requests from folks, and those requests need to go fulfilled. So Sometimes it's as simple as departments having that data in-house, but sometimes a level of analytics is necessary to adequately answer the question. So that's the first. There's also been a desire, and this has come from a few meetings with legislators and internally with departments, to have a better ability to analyze programs, determine their effectiveness and the outcomes that they produce. And that is both for existing programs, from a reactionary perspective, I guess, but also from a proactive perspective in the development of new programs. So, that's the other primary reason. And of course, what we do know now is that, COVID has been very data driven. The response has been very data informed. And so, with the modernizing of the workforce in Albany County, having this position in the Department of Management and Budget close to IT seemed like a perfect way of starting the process of kind of really integrating data analytics into our approach of service. So that's what we got for you.
That sounds pretty good. I have to admit that I have been one of those people that has been requesting information in regards to how we're measuring the success of the programs that we have. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully the analysis and the reports that's going to come out of this. So thank you very much. Is there anyone else who has a question of Mr. McLaughlin? Mr. Bergdorf.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman. Hey, Mike, is this going to be for both county-only funded programs or for even some of our state mandated programs? Because we spend a tremendous amount of money on a pass-through basis that I have often wondered what the net impact would be. And I would hope that we'd be looking, primarily at our county programs, but also some of the state mandates as well.
Well, all right. So that's I don't want to say a complicated answer, but I need to caution everybody because as far as we're concerned, we agree with what you just said, that it could be used or will be used for an examination of state mandated programs. However, that doesn't change the mandate. So it helps us to go and this is, I guess, another advantage, when I go back to my old stomping grounds every year and I do some advocacy for county priorities. It'll be nice to have the data informed position, but we're all going to have to realize that it's going to be effective to take those programs that we have the ability to decide if we want to participate in or not and make that decision. But there's going to be inevitably a situation where the data is not showing what we want. And that may be that the program is not working, it's not working as effectively as it should be or something. And we're still going to be mandated to do the service. So that is one complication that is likely to arise. As far as we're concerned, the position is going to be used for all of the above. And we hope to place within each department, whether it be somebody who has the ability to do this type of work or otherwise, somebody that can work with this coordinator to kind of make sure there's a boots on the ground as well as a higher level kind of understanding as well. So that's kind of the idea.
So would you be, for people in each department, you designate someone who was part of the existing staff hierarchy?
Well, we haven't done that part yet. The first idea is to get this position on board and kind of use their expertise to figure out how best to implement that. Because some departments, some departments may not need their own, just given the fact that we have, you folks know, we have very, very large, very, very small, and everything in between.
Well, I guess my question was, you've got a data analytics coordination position. Are we expected to see in the budget, another 8 new positions in various departments that will report up to that? Or is this initially a first shot?
This is just a first shot.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a question here. I see this is for the remaining 3 months of, do you have someone in mind already?
We do not.
Okay, so I see that the salary is 80,000 or
Wow.
thereabout. And so that this is only for 20,000 for the last quarter.
That's correct, madam. Yeah, that's correct, Madam Chair. Yeah.
So you do look to hire someone very soon?
Yes.
All right. All right, Mr. Grimm, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Mike, keep talking. Well, say clear, practical outcomes.
I wasn't necessarily referring to you. The chairwoman said that she was interested.
Wanda's good too. Yeah. No, I think one of the biggest challenges in government was we measure commitment based on how much money we spend. But that's not the true measurement. It's how effective we are. So if our goal is to get people from dependency to independence, then we want to know how many people have we moved from dependency to independence. One of my favorite examples, we gave $1 million, I think, to Cornell Cooperative Extension about smoking cessation. And I asked them, how many people did you get to stop smoking? And he said, we don't have that information. That's the only thing I want to know. One of the things I caution about data is not just getting a bunch of information, you're overloaded and you have 90-page reports. That's not what data people should do. They should clarify what the most important data is, and they get everybody in the county to focus on those things. So this data is about changing the culture, but it has to be done with the idea, with clarity in mind and with really good information. So I think this is an enormous opportunity if we do it the right way.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's 100% true. And frankly, myself, I know Dave, the Commissioner of Management and Budget, County Executive, Deputy County Executive, we're actually of the opinion that we are in data overload because we have so much data in so many different forms, in so many different places that it's almost impossible to track. So we're actually kind of in that position already. In this position would be helpful to distill it all out, focus on it full time. I can dabble in it, but one, I'm terrible with numbers. Dave Riley can tell you that. But also, it's just we need somebody to be able to actually sit down and focus.
Yeah, because we pay these employees and they say, "Oh, this is more work to collect data." We collect too much data. The problem is we don't distill it into a data that's really powerful, and then we can guide our policy decisions. And the legislature needs this data too, so we can make appropriate data policy decisions. But the employees, they will, if you're not counting it, it doesn't count. And they're willing to count things that matter, but not a bunch of bureaucratic stuff that doesn't.
Okay, Mr. Graham, we thank you for the analysis of the position.
Sorry, no, it was a question. Sorry.
Okay, so
Madam Chair,
yes, Mr. Peter.
if there are no further questions, I'd like to make a motion to move this.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter.
Seconded.
I got a second from Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much, Mr. McLaughlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
And
Mike.
Mr. Grimm.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Number 7, Ms. Kennedy.
Item 7 is authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 56 James Street in the Village of Green Island.
Madam Chairwoman, this and the next few property transfers are all part of a sealed bid process that we did. I believe it went from May to June. This particular property is 56 James Street in the Village of Green Island. The winning bidder is Cannon Realty. They are looking to do some amendments to the parcel and then build a single family home on it for development.
So can I just ask you a question about the sealed bids?
Yes, ma'am.
How often do these come out? I understand that. Is it something that we put in the paper or I mean, this is property that has not gone. Go ahead.
Yeah, we advertise them as many different ways as we can. And what we typically do is we bite off bits as we can, just to not overwhelm. We've done sealed bids for our entire foreclosure, and it's wildly overwhelming. So when requests come into the county executive's office for properties, if it's a withdrawn property, I'll forward it to DMB, and then Dave and his team also picks a few other parcels, and then we'll release one. For example, we just went live with a sealed bid, which we plugged on social media, did the advertisements and all that stuff, tried to get it out, I believe, yesterday. But keep in mind, all sealed bid properties are potentially environmentally contaminated. They're all withdrawn properties.
Yes.
So let me ask this question. When you put something out and the individual sends back what their objective is for the property, do you see any remediation in there to suggest they're going to clean up these brownfields, whatever it is that we're getting rid of?
So just because it's withdrawn from the process does not necessarily mean that it's contaminated. We withdraw anything that has any chance of a potential for contamination to protect the county taxpayer so as not to put us on the hook if there is to be contamination there. So we operate with an overabundance of caution just so we don't end up with that $1 million brownfield in county title.
But once it leaves us, then they're responsible for it. That's the goal, right?
Correct. Then they're on the chain of title, and yes, they would be responsible for the cleanup.
And they're no way bound to do what they say they're going to do during the bid, correct?
So these so they're required in terms of following all local zoning and planning requirements. They would have to test the property to determine if the property is indeed contaminated, and then proceed accordingly according to whatever's found.
I'm sorry, Lynn, do you have any other questions? Do we inform them that the property is?
Yes, as part of the bidding process, it is disclosed. We say whatever we know. If we know anything to be a fact, we say we know this. Otherwise, we say it was withdrawn because we have concerns about the potential for contamination.
And if we're able to confirm there is contamination, so sometimes DEC has information on file about properties that actually confirms that property is contaminated. That information is disclosed. We actually require that a bidder come in and view the property file. We are actually now, we actually kind of flipped that. So now the property file is uploaded to the website, but you have to review that information in order to actually see.
Okay, thank you. Do I, Mr. Bergdorf, is your hand up?
Yes, ma'am. Just a quick question. Both of these are the result of a sealed bid process, right?
Correct.
Well, there's several here. Yeah, there's more than two.
Well, these two in Green Island, they both happen to be going to Cannon Realty LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a major developer in Green Island? Did they have the highest bid in both instances? It's just, I don't have an intimate knowledge of the streetscape of Green Island, but are these contiguous properties that are looking to put together, or what's the, can you give us some background?
So all bids that were received are in these files. For this particular property, they were the high bidder. I do know that they are a developer that does multiple properties, specifically in Green Island. I don't know about the rest of the county. They're actually based out of off of Railroad Avenue, so they're not a Green Island business per se.
Okay.
But yeah, for this one particular, they were the high bidder. They put in 3,000, saying that they were going to build a new structure there and all costs associated with that. I'm looking, the next bid was $500, and the person says they will paint the building and fix any exterior issues, but not that it's going to be new construction. I think there's one other one in here as well. Hold on.
Well, you got 7 and 8, both going to Cannon Realty. I'm just looking for a little background.
Yeah, and in their bidding documents, they list multiple addresses in Green Island properties that they've done. Specifically, I think they're based on Cannon Street in Green Island. There's about a dozen addresses on Cannon Street they've listed.
It looks like this is just a row house lot, Mr. Bergdorf.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So, Ms. Kennedy, can I entertain 7 and 8 together or no?
I think they have to be done separately because it's a conveyance.
Very good. Mr. Peter. Separately.
If there's no further questions, I'd like to make a motion on number 7, please.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Peter and I have a second from Ms. Lakakis on number 7. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. And does anybody?
Madam Chair, can we make a motion on number 8?
Yes, we can. Ms.
May I?
Lakakis is giving us a motion on number 8,
Would love to give a second.
and I have a second from Mr. Peter on number 8. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Can I ask you to do one thing for me? Can you take, I know that we have the same person who bid for number 9 and number 11. Is that correct?
9, 11, and I believe, yes, 9 and 11 are the same bidder. That is Jamale Auto Corp. He's in the neighborhood. He's around the corner from both of the properties.
Yes, and he used to his property used to be located
next door to this property, correct?
Yes, yes. So can we have conversation just about 9 and 11 together and then vote on them separately? So if you could just give, Miss Kennedy, where are you? Where is she? Okay, could you just read 9 and 11, please?
Sure, Madam Chairwoman. Item 9 is authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 90 Alexander Street in the city of Albany. And number 11 is authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 148 and 150 Hawk Street in the city of Albany.
Thank you very much. And who's doing that?
That would be myself as well, Madam Chairwoman. So as we just read, number 9 is 90 Alexander Street in the city of Albany. Again, like the previous 2, this was a sealed bid auction that we withdrew from the foreclosure status. This property is the bid for it was $4,000. As we noted before, the bidder actually used to be in business next door to this. He's currently around the corner. He owns multiple parcels in the neighborhood. And I believe this is to expand his business footprint.
And this is a lot, is that correct? 90, I believe
Yeah.
90.
1 second here. Yes, this first one will be for parking for employees and customer cars.
Okay, and now on Hawk Street, 148 and
Yep.
1, what do we have there?
So that one is 148 and 150 Hawk Street, as you just said. The bid for this is $5,500. And let's see what his use for this one is. Let's see, where's that? Sorry, there's just a few of them here this month, so I'm a little. Did I miss that page?
I know that the business is located on Catherine Street.
Yes, he's 144 Catherine Street, I believe. And then his 2 daughters also have 2 businesses in the area as well. So this would be a lot for cars awaiting repair, and a satellite lot for cars awaiting sale or delivery for the sales businesses.
All right. Do I have any questions from any of the members?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Peter?
if there are no questions, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion on number 9 first.
I'll second.
And I have a second from Mr. Clay. So I got a motion and a second. All those in favor? We're on number 9.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Now number 11. I need a
Madam
motion.
Chairwoman.
Who was that? No,
I'm sorry.
she read 11 too. Who's going to give me a motion on 11?
I'll give you a motion, madam.
I got a motion on
I'll do a
on
second.
number 11, and I got a second from, is that you, Ms. Lakakis?
It was me, but
Okay,
whatever,
I
we got a
got
lot
it.
more to pick from.
So I got a motion and a second on number 11. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to go to number 10.
Item 10 is authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 144 Broad Street in the city of Albany.
Madam Chairwoman, this is another sealed bid for a withdrawn parcel. The bidder here, this is for $3,000. Let's see.
Is this a house?
Yes.
This is a residential property, yes.
Okay.
He is actually going to, it's a multifamily. He's going to own or occupy and rent out the other units.
Very good. Are there any questions on this? If no, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion, Madam Chair.
I got a motion from Mr. O'Brien, and I have a second from Ms. Lakakis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. We are now on number 12. Ms. Kennedy?
Yes, item 12 is amending resolution number 435 for 2019 regarding the authorization to convey a parcel of real property known as Van Wyce Point in the town of Bethlehem.
Madam Chairwoman, back in 2019, Resolution 435 authorized the conveyance of this parcel in the town of Bethlehem to the family that had previously owned it. That did not close within its normal authorization of 60 days. They have reached out to us to grant an extension for an additional 60 days to allow them to close on it at this point.
There are no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
Don't
I
move.
have a question, Madam Chair.
Very
I'm
good.
trying to figure out what we're doing here, Dave. Are we giving them another extension or are we approving the sale?
This would be to give them another extension to close. We have their $35,000 on deposit, just the closing never happened previously.
Okay,
Well, just to add that clarification, so there's a whole bunch of legal questions that came up in this closing. I won't get into the details, but the moral of the story is that they got cold feet after the initial authorization to close, because when you sell a property back to a previous owner, you reinstate the liens. So it took a very long time to get them comfortable with that concept. In that period of time, they had already deposited with the county $120,000. They now accrued 35 or change more, and they then paid that and asked for an extension. So functionally speaking, we're doing the same thing we did last time. We just now have the assurance, because they have legal counsel to explain to them, that they will close upon passage.
so you're telling me that we had $120,000 deposit and they just put up another $35,000?
Yeah,
107 and 35, so 142.
142. Okay, and is that what it will take to clear everything up so they can close?
Yeah, that's the full delinquency, interest, and penalties on the property. That's correct.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. I need a motion.
Motion.
I got a
Madam
motion
Chair.
from Mr. O'Brien. I got a second from Mr. Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. We're now on to number 13.
Item 13 is amending the 2021 Albany County budget for temporary help and overtime.
So, Madam Chairwoman, this is for the Division of Finance. It is to shuffle some money around due to limitations on hiring due to the pandemic. Temp help and overtime codes were used much more, I guess, robustly than normal or than anticipated. And so Director Neal has asked that we do these transfers to cover the excess costs. This is a one-time to get us through this year, and operations will go back to normal next year.
There are no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Got a motion from
Second.
I got a motion from Ms. Lakakis. I got a second from Mr. Bergdorf. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Number 14, Ms. Kennedy.
Item 14 is amending the 2021 Albany County budget for insurance premiums.
Madam Chairwoman, as you may remember, the county attorney was in front of you, I think a month or so ago, with our new insurance premiums and the new coverage for the county. And if you remember, there was a large increase year over year in those policies. This is a budget amendment to cover those higher than expected premiums because we had budgeted based on previous years with a small growth factor and it wasn't enough to be in there. So we just want to clear up all those lines since we have quite a few countywide and have the money in there to pay the bills.
So that 500, that's $570,000?
What is the bottom line here? 569,912, correct.
And so that's how much we were short?
Correct. This is the differential from what we had initially anticipated to what we ended up coming in at.
So can we expect higher premiums for, what year? What's the year for our insurance? What is it from January to December? What is it?
I would have to double check with the county attorney the exact terms. She refers to this as the 2021 to 2022 renewal term.
So we can expect that much more?
As I'm putting this year or next year's budget together right now, I am basing our insurance numbers based on these numbers with a growth factor attached to them.
Did everybody hear that? I just want everybody aware of what we're actually hearing right now.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other questions? If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion, Madam Chair.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter.
Second.
I got a second from Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Sob.
Unanimous. Thank you very much. We have one additional item. Ms. Kennedy?
Yes, item 15 is available on Granicus. It's been uploaded to your tablets. And item 15 is amending resolution 278 regarding the purchase of a lowboy trailer.
So, Madam Chairwoman, I can handle this so that Commissioner Raimondo didn't have to come down for one item at 7:15 in the evening. The previous authorization to purchase this had gone through the legislature. The only change here is the budget amendment was not included in the backup last time, so we just need to go through the process again to authorize the budget transfer so the money's in the right place to pay for the trailer.
And that's $74,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it good looking?
Motion.
Did you have a question or a comment, Ms. Lakakis?
I missed the pictures, remember you used to get those grainy pictures last year and the year before, anyway, no, I don't have a question, sorry.
I got a motion from someone.
I'll make a
Mr.
motion.
O'Brien.
Okay, I got a motion
And
from Ms.
second.
Lakakis and I got a second from Mr. Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Is that our last item?
It is, Madam Chairwoman.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Peter.
I got a motion to adjourn from 5 people. Pick one.
Come on, Mr. Peter.
Mr. Peter, all right. And a
Mr.
second
Peter.
from, I got a second from Ms. Lakakis. All those in
Wow.
favor?